Hi guys, and welcome to the Luton versus Sunderland match review. And of course it did finish 1-1. Now, if you asked me before the game, would you have taken a draw against Luton away from home? Honestly, I probably would have said yes, but at the same time, because of the hype of last game, first game of the season, obviously against Charlton, it was a last minute winner. Everyone was on such a high. I would have obviously massively preferred a win, and I was kind of half expecting one, maybe getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but I think today was probably a dose of reality that, you know, just because we're Sunderland and we're deemed to be the favourites, it's not our God-given right to win every single game. You need to work your socks off in this league, and, you know, we did work well. We didn't play badly whatsoever, but, again, switch off for a second in football in general, and you're going to get punished, and I think that's exactly what we did. So we'll get into this match review and we'll start off from the beginning. So the opening moments of the first half, it was a very, very cagey game, but I do think Luton had the better of it for the opening moments of the game. Very cagey, like I say, free kicks given here, there and everywhere. A lot of lumped balls to and fro, you know, between each side. But a couple of chances did fall for Luton, one of them on the edge of the box in which he smashed it way over the bar. But other than that, it was just half chances. We weren't really creating much either. I think, again, which I did point out on Instagram, the midfield, to be fair, Jack Ross doesn't have too much to work with. But we did have, we had Max Power, we had Mumba and Honeyman as well. And we keep trying to play Honeyman in that number 10 position, which I don't personally think he can play there. I think he gets too drawn into the defensive side of it, and then he doesn't attack enough. Whereas Maguire, he's very, very good in that role. He can collect the ball, spin off, turn away, and you know, start an attack. Whereas Honeyman can't do that. He gets too attracted to the defensive side, and in doing that, that creates that massive separation that I spoke about in the previous review of the Charlton game. It creates this massive separation between the midfield and the strikers. Then there's a big gap in there because Honeyman has been dragged into the defensive fight. So then the only thing we have left to do, our only option, is hoof balls up to Madja, which wasn't working because Madja desperately needed someone up there with him, particularly in that first half, or the sort of first half of the first half. We were just lumping balls up to him, and it's not going to work. Madja doesn't win anything in the air. He's not that kind of player. So he gets drawn forward as well. So then he almost fills up that number 10 role almost. So he needs to collect the ball and then turn, because he's very good on the ball. He's very good running at players. But there's no point whatsoever in lumping balls into the box when Madja's there, because he's not going to win it. He's not going to do anything. He's not going to challenge physically because he's not that kind of player. That's where we really, really needed Wyke today. It would have been good to see Wyke on the pitch. Obviously, he's still injured, so that wasn't possible anyway. But I think the style of play we were playing, particularly in parts of the first half, it would have been easy for Wyke. It would have been he would have ate that up when you know, just hoofing balls into the box or whipping balls into the box. Because at times it was only Madja in the box. There were a few times where we were breaking down the wings, and I'm thinking to myself, there's no one in the box. There's no one at all. And I think that's because the three who we had up top, we had Madja, Maguire and Gooch, and they all keep interchanging, which is fine. I like that tactic. It's very good. You can try and test each defender which suits each attacker, if you see what I mean. You can keep swapping, chopping and changing, confuse the defence a little bit, and it can come off very well. But I don't think it was coming off, particularly in that first half where I think Gooch a few times had a very good game, I believe. He was bombing down the right-hand side 2 or 3 times, and then there's no one in the box, and we've got Madja and Maguire sat way outside the box, and there's no one there. They need to decide who's going to be busting a gut to get in there, who's going to be waiting on the edge, which really should be Honeyman if he's playing that number 10 role. He should be the one sat on the edge, maybe to collect some scraps, and Maguire and Madja should be both in there. But because Honeyman is still miles back down there, concerned about the defence, we've only got Madja and Maguire up there, and both of them are sat on the edge of the box, so it's pointless. And at this point, I'm thinking, I don't know where on earth we're going to get a goal from. But we did calm down. And I did start to really like the way we were playing. We were keeping the ball on the ground, which was blatant to see every time. McLaughlin would pick up the ball, the goalkeeper, he'd roll it out. 9 times out of 10, he'd roll it out to Louvens, who I'll get onto Louvens in a minute. Don't worry, it's positive. He'd be rolling the ball out to Louvens, and then Louvens would start the attack from there. And I really, really enjoyed that hoof-it football, that lumping the ball up top all the time. That plan seemed to be scrapped within the first 20-odd minutes, 25 minutes. And I really, really liked what we were doing. It was just, you know, we were playing the ball nicely. We were doing little triangles here, there and everywhere. But we weren't really making much of it. But then anyway, we did manage to break the deadlock, and it was a fantastic little move as well. Gooch broke from the inside. He played a beautiful little dink ball as well to Madja, who takes a touch and manages to slide it into that bottom left-hand corner under the oncoming goalkeeper. So we're 1-0 up. We're heading into half-time, and I'm thinking, yes, this is fantastic, because we were starting to really put the pressure on towards the back end of that first half. Well, I say pressure, it's not like we're getting chance after chance after chance, but we were controlling the game, and that was, I think, as well, I think Max Power was down to that a lot as well, because his retention of the ball, the way he retains the ball and keeps the ball, I think he was doing excellently well with that. He was never losing the ball. He was holds onto it well, and he picks his passes correctly and at the right moments as well. There's no just hopeful balls with him. It's always, if the pass is on, I will make that pass. And he did that 10 times out of 10. So, a fantastic performance from him. So we go into the second half, and to me, it's more of the same. Lovely football from the lads. We had a couple of chances ourselves, but then Luton do get themselves a corner. It's quite a clever short corner routine, to be fair to them, very decent indeed. But when the ball comes in, it should have been cleared away, and I can't remember whether it was either Catamol or Baldwin, one of the two, who gets the wrong side of the man. They tried to pull him down, it don't work. It was the defender from Luton who did get the goal. It was dinked in. It was, like I say, Catamol or Baldwin. I really can't remember at all. They're sort of clambering back to get back on the right-hand side of the defender. He's trying to pull him back, but the defender, whilst falling back, he basically toe pokes it, and it drifts into that top left-hand corner. Pretty much, I think it was off the post, possibly. But it is 1-1, and at this point, I'm thinking, I can't see us getting back into this, because, the Luton crowd, they were absolutely fantastic. They were absolutely, roaring for their team to continue with this, and the lads looked a tad shaken for a good 5-10 minutes after that. Mumba did come off. I forgot to mention that, but Mumba did come off before that goal, because Mumba, I think he did well when he was on the pitch. He did relatively well when, he was just a simple sort of passing. But I think the physicality of the game was getting to him a little bit. He was getting shoved off the ball a little bit, and I think he was getting forced into rush decisions, because he was almost panicking when one of the Luton players had come and challenge for the ball, because he was getting thrown about a bit, and he can't really help that too much. He's only, 16, 17 years of age. So, it was probably right for Jack Ross to bring him off, and Katz did come on, even though Katz himself, he probably didn't offer too much. I can understand why Jack Ross would do that, but, Catamol did, I suppose, give us that sort of defensive blanket for a while maybe, trying to come up with some kind of positive for him. But then, obviously, we did concede, like I said. But I think other than that, when Catamol was on the pitch, he won a couple of headers in the box, but also 2 or 3 poor passes that went adrift and went straight out for throw-ins and stuff like that. But I'm not going to slate him too much, because he didn't do half bad. It was just wasn't fantastic, I suppose. But we did manage to have another chance later on. I think it was Oviedo. The ball was pulled back to him. He drilled it across goal, and it falls to Maguire, who I think he should have left it, because I think it may have been Gooch who was just behind him, who would have probably had an easier chance on goal. But Maguire took a touch, it was bobbling a bit, and on the turn, he smashed it, and it just ballooned off the crossbar, unfortunately. And, it just went our day in that sense. And, I think Luton had another couple of chances towards the end of the game. They probably had the better of the sort of back end. And the defensively were slightly all over the place when they were catching us on the counter-attack, and they were putting balls in behind the defence, and we were in absolute no man's land, where I think they did have a free header at one point, but luckily the Luton player, he's headed it miles wide of goal and just sort of dragged it a bit with his head. But other than that, I think that was pretty much the entire game. Gooch had had himself a chance as well, which he dragged wide. So now, if I talk about the performance of the players themselves, Gooch, I think he was very impressive. Especially for the first sort of hour or so, hour to 70 minutes. But other than that, I think the thing that frustrates me a little bit with Gooch in today's game in particular, I think, it's great that his confidence is sky high. He seems to be a completely different player this season, which is, it's absolutely brilliant to see, because I've always loved Gooch. I've always really liked him, and I've always seen the potential in him. And I think he's looking very good coming off the wing, rather than sticking him in the centre, which is where we've probably seen him more naturally. But I think he's guilty at times, particularly today, of overdoing it a little bit. There'd be times where, he'd be bombing at a player down the right, but he doesn't have many options, so it'd be the easy option to turn back and maybe, give it back to Matthews, who's awaiting to, maybe put a ball in, because Gooch might have, 1 or 2 Luton players challenging him. But 2 or 3 times he tried to go for a Megs, you know, try and nutmeg the player, and it didn't come off. And I think he's trying to do a bit too much at times, but you know, it'll all come with time, a bit more experience for him. But he did have a very good game. But my man of the match for us, surprisingly, was Louvens. I think Louvens was absolutely fantastic, personally. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but watching Louvens, he was just so controlled on the ball. He won everything in the air, made several interceptions. He really did surprise me. Of course, his pace doesn't help him, but no one was getting in behind him half the time. No, not once did they get in behind us, really, and it being Louvens' fault. I think he was absolutely fantastic, and he actually played the sort of ball-playing defender, which I didn't expect at all from him. He was very controlled at the back, always played the right passes. Like I say, he was winning every challenge that was thrown his way, mostly anyway. So for me, I think Louvens was man of the match. Maguire as well, I think, played pretty well. Obviously, had that chance that, unfortunately for him, hit the bar. I think that would have done so much for his confidence had that gone in, but unfortunately it didn't. But that was that, guys. So it did finish 1-1, and I think we can take a lot of confidence from it, considering, you know, all the injuries that we've got, especially McGeoch is to come back, Wyke is to come and make his debut for us. So I think, especially, say, for example, we have McGeoch and Power in midfield, I think that'll be absolutely fantastic. McGeoch and Power. Power's more of the sort of defensive of the two, I suppose, but he has a brilliant range of passing on him, and he can shoot. McGeoch is the same, apart from maybe not as defensively sort of aggressive, but his range of passing is absolutely insane, McGeoch. So with them two in midfield, I think that's absolutely cracking. And obviously with Wyke to come back, we don't know too much about in the red and white stripes, but I'm sure in, you know, given the physicality of this league, I think he'll do very, very well. And we definitely needed to play like him today up top, maybe with the likes of Madja. You know, Wyke can maybe knock balls down to Madja rather than Madja being the one who's trying to win the balls in the air, because it's not going to happen. But I think all in all, we can take a lot of positives from today. At least we didn't get beat. Luton, you know, to be fair to them, they weren't too bad of a team. Personally, I don't think they had the most technical side. They were just very physical. They worked very hard, but not at any point did I think, you know, oh, that plays absolute quality, or he's doing really well. It was more, you know, they just all kind of worked as a team, and they worked the socks off. But there weren't really too much quality in that side of Luton's at all that troubled us too much. We just give away a bit of a daft goal, really. It wasn't great defending. But that was it, guys. So yeah, I give him man of the match to Louvens anyway. So I think that's it. Hopefully we can just pick ourselves up and keep going. I think we should take all the positives, like I say, from that game. We did see some very good football from the lads at times today, which I'm really pleased with, especially, like I say, given the injuries and stuff that we have had, and the lacking depth we have, the massive lacking depth. So I'm pleased with it. It probably would have felt a bit better if we went a goal down and then got the equaliser. Then it probably would have felt a bit better. But because I feel like we scored and then we were still on top but still conceded, then, you know, that's when it hurts, and I am a little bit sour from that. But that is it. That is it, guys. So if you have enjoyed, please hit the like button. That'd be massively appreciated, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarnie Army. But for now, you take care and stay jamming.